I was telling Matt, I think this is going to be a bit of a change of pace, and you'll all decide what that means. This morning, the archivist, David Ferriero, mentioned in passing, or briefly, our new strategic plan. I wanted to talk this afternoon a little about that and wrap a couple of other things we're working on. In relation to that, I wanted to talk about some guidance we have related to electronic file formats, a new guidance product that we're working on for digitization standards for federal agencies, and I'll touch on the role of PDF in our work. First, I wanted to quickly give you some background and context for the unit that I work in here at NARA. I work in the Records Management and Outreach Program in the Office of the Chief Records Officer for the U.S. government. Among our duties, we develop federal records management policies and guidance related to records creation, management, and disposition, with an emphasis on electronic records. And we spearhead initiatives to engage and assist agencies in automating electronic records management. Now, within the program, my unit, my team, has some additional activities. We develop federal records management policies and guidance related to standards. We participate in the development of records management and format standards. And we partner with NARA offices to develop technical standards for the transfer and preservation of electronic records to NARA. And just quickly, in terms of the context that we work in, there's sort of three major statutes that the flow of records to NARA fall under. The Federal Records Act, which is the main one my office focuses on, which establishes the framework for records management in federal agencies. There's also the Presidential Records Act for presidential and vice presidential records, and then agreements like the one that the Center for Legislative Archives has here for congressional records. So one of our responsibilities is to issue various guidance products to federal agencies. Our goal in doing this is to provide guidance products that are practicable and support agencies in achieving their records management responsibilities. To that end, we issue bulletins, we maintain regulations related to records management, and we publish FAQs and other products to clarify records management issues and responsibilities for agencies. And one of our current projects, and one I'll highlight in a moment, is a bulletin that we're developing now for guidance for digitization of federal records. So as for the draft strategic plan, the new strategic plan, and a couple of the key goals. The strategic plan defines the agency mission, strategic goals, and the long-term objectives we hope to accomplish over the next 4 years. Once finalized, it's to be published later this year, and it will cover through fiscal year 2022. The draft of the plan was issued in late 2017 and shared publicly in August for comments. And after that comment period, we had release of the current version of the draft. And that draft was submitted to OMB in September of last year. The plan itself is broken into four overarching goals: make access happen, connect with customers, maximize NARA's value to the nation, and build our future through our people. I wanted to focus on two of the goals specific, or under two of these goals, two of the sub-goals specific to electronic records management. Goal 2.4 speaks to NARA's commitment to assist federal agencies in transitioning to a fully electronic record-keeping government. Goal 3.2 speaks to NARA's commitment to accept permanent records only in electronic form, recognizing that NARA may need to accept a limited number of analog records after the December 31st, 2022 deadline. So for goal 2.4, it looks to transition to fully electronic record keeping across the federal government. And what across the federal government means to NARA in terms of scope is that we're working with about 275 agencies with different approaches, different budgets, and different missions and business needs. And this is the context that we work in across NARA. For us on the records management side, as well as for the custodial units that have to take in and process these records. So NARA's strategies to address this transition to electronic record keeping include conducting an internal business process re-engineering, a BPR, to improve the agency-facing functions of our electronic records archive, providing federal agencies with guidance and success criteria for managing electronic records, and developing federal records management requirements and working with federal and commercial vendors to incorporate the requirements into software applications and cloud offerings. Going into goal 3.2, as I mentioned, with certain exceptions, NARA will eventually only be accepting records in electronic format. Currently, our body of guidance for agencies includes 2 key bulletins related to the transfer of electronic records to NARA. One is the File Format Guidance Bulletin, which specifies which file formats are acceptable when transferring permanent electronic records to NARA. The other is our Metadata Guidance Bulletin, which provides the minimum list of metadata terms necessary for describing permanent electronic records. We're now working on a new piece of guidance, as I mentioned, our digitization guidance, to also support this goal. So there are a few drivers for us to develop this guidance. In addition to supporting the NARA strategic plan goals, the development is being driven by the Federal Records Act, which had some amendments in 2014 that emphasized issuing of guidance related to electronic transfer of records and digitization of analog records. It's also driven by the OMB Memorandum Managing Government Records Directive, which calls for federal agencies to manage all permanent electronic records in electronic format by 2019, and speaks to the benefits of digitizing permanent records created in hard copy or other analog formats. The first piece of the digitization guidance that we plan to issue is for textual paper records, which is sort of the biggest chunk. Though ultimately we'll have to assess how to cover audiovisual and other record types as well, we anticipate. In drafting it, we're incorporating principles from many sources and placing them in the context of records management. One main source is the Federal Agency's Digital Guidelines Initiatives, FAGI, technical guidelines for digitizing cultural heritage materials, which addresses the creation of image files. Our guidance for federal agencies will address areas of the digitization process such as record selection, assessment, and preparation, technical and metadata requirements, quality management considerations, and appropriate formats. And as far as formats and the role of PDF in the guidance, we currently specify PDF, in the guidance we will specify PDFA as one of the formats for scan text. And this is consistent with the current role of PDF in our existing guidance. PDF is one of the formats that NARA works with and will continue to assess for its suitability as a transfer and preservation format. As a flexible container for lots of content types, we specify PDF as a transfer format for a number of record types, including currently scanned text, geospatial records, presentations, digital posters, as well as for word process text. Additionally, for several years, we participated on the International Organization for Standardization's Technical Committee on Document Management Applications, and especially on the Subcommittee for Document File Formats, which has responsibility for the PDF standards. And also, as has been said today already, the National Archives joined the PDF Association last year. Since at NARA we both produce and are custodians of PDF documents, and we see this engagement with the PDF standards and vendor community as an opportunity to advocate and influence the development of PDF specifications, tools, and systems. So this is where we are with the development of this first phase of the digitization guidance. The guidance itself, the timeline for issuing it, we plan and hope to get through the review process in the coming months and be able to get get to the final draft and issue the final version as a bulletin later this year. So that's what I wanted to give you a summary of today, just to highlight some key parts for us of the new strategic plan and sort of the main product, one of the main products we're currently working on to support it. Thank you.